SETH Panyako is the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, and he is also the registered Vice Chairman of UDA party. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you.
That's the hot seat of the Situation Room. Make yourself comfortable.
I'm really comfortable.
Very good.
Yeah.
To make you even more comfortable, CT will give you the day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week come from the country of Madagascar. Today's proverb is as follows. When the king reigns, it is thanks to the people. When the river sings, it is thanks to the stones.
When the king reigns, it's thanks to the people. When the river sings, it's thanks to the stone. Seth, what do you make of this proverb?
I'm not a philosopher, but when you have a good king, of course, the people will be happy because the king will be ruling in a way that promotes the interest of the people. But if the king is not a good king, then he will be sinking those stones. It means that if you're not good, you will now be living with the autocratic leadership. People will not be happy, and you'll be sinking the country. That is how I look at it. Yeah.
Good. Seth, are you still in UDA?
Legally, I'm still in UDA, but socially and politically, I have left the party.
Socially and politically?
Yeah. But legally, I'm still.
Okay. Let's start with the social and political. What happened?
Yeah, on Friday, last Friday around 7:20 p.m., actually, I was at the airport. I was boarding the plane to go home. I received a phone call from the president, and he told me he's under pressure from his people, those people who surround him. And I think there's a group of about 5 people from one ethnic community that believe that they should control everything around the president. And so he told me, you are opposing all the programs of the government, especially the housing levy and other things like VAT on fuel and many other things. And he told me it was not tenable for you to continue to be an official of the party when you are opposing the programs of the party. So I told him, in short, you were saying you want me to leave? He said, yes. Then I told him, oh, that one I grant you. On Monday, you'll get my resignation letter. But I've not resigned since then because of other things that emerged after that. Yes.
So the president called you, and he was telling you that he's getting pressure from the other officials of the party.
He said, I'm getting a lot of pressure from people. Of course, I don't know whether the officials of the party or the cartels around him. I'm not quite sure.
This clearly shows that you and the president speak regularly.
We used to before elections. But after elections, I think that was the first phone call he called me to tell me that I should perhaps be leaving the party.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that must not be the first meeting that you've held with the president since he assumed office.
Yeah, that was the first phone call. We have not been communicating. In fact, communication was cut immediately he became the president.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as a party, you have met as a party, as leadership of the party. Have you not?
Since
Well, since after the election.
no, we meet only to come and rub stamp some things that have happened. You know, the party, we don't meet to, like the other time we met was to come and accept Malala as the SG. And we come and we are told this is the SG, these are the changes, and you are in State House. And you are told go and announce, and we go and announce. Those are the kind of meetings we've been having. There has been no meetings where the National Executive Council of the party is given something to discuss and make a decision.
Okay.
Decisions are made. Your work is to go and approve them.
So was the president? Can we assume that the president was actually calling you to try and persuade you to see his side on why he needs, for example, the kind of proposals that he's put forth to run the government and deliver on the UDA manifesto?
No. He was calling to tell me to leave his party because I do not agree with his program for the government.
Okay.
The president, I don't think, has time for any divergent views on what he believes in. I don't think he listens to anybody. I think he listens to himself.
Okay. What are these issues that you do not agree with?
You know, political conmanship in this country must end. And that is what we were telling people. When we were campaigning, we wrote on the issue of lowering the cost of living. And we said one of the things we are going to do was to remove the 8% on VAT. You know, petroleum products are taxed in Kenya up to around 60%. So we told the people that we remove VAT from petroleum products to lower the petroleum product, and the net effect will be the lower the cost of living, because petroleum products affect our production in all aspects. Now today we are telling people, no, we're not going to lower, we're going to double it. Now where Uhuru left it from 8% to 16%. We told people that we will do affordable housing programs and create employment. We never said that we are going to use workers' money to do those affordable housing. Because if we told workers that we're going to remove 3% from your salary to do housing project, then workers will not have voted for Kenya Kwanza. So we deceived them. We deceived the Kenyans. And that's why I'm saying politicians must stick to what they promise to their own people. Not when you are now in office and you start doing your own things. Me as Panyako, I will not be supporting.
Let me take you back a few steps, Seth, even before, because you were here before the election, when the campaigns were in full swing, full throttle. You said a number of things. You pushed for it. Is it possible that there was deception in the offing, as you said, and then in a few short months after an election, that somebody is then able to turn completely, and you had no idea that, as you say, it was just a ruse to get people to vote for a particular government, and then after they would turn the tables? Absolutely possible that you did not know about this.
In fact, is there anything you wanted me to add? That is the exact situation. That is what it is. This is political conmanship. I said it before. You tell somebody that you tell Kenyans, we reduce the cost of living by ensuring that VAT on fuel is removed. We will do affordable houses. You don't tell workers that we're going to get money from you. You are taxing almost everything. And when you look at those taxes regime, you see, like to import a helicopter, they are removing 15% on importing of helicopters. Who imports helicopters in this country? It is themselves. They have no interest for the common man. They have interest for themselves. And that's why any Kenyan who is bothered about the lives of the Kenyan must look at the finance bill clearly. And you will see that it's meant to protect those who have. Those who do not have are to be milked until they die.
Seth, is there something else that you're angry about?
Very many things. You know, clearly, as you said, what we promised people is now upside down. Now people have gotten to office, they don't consult. You see, if I am a member of the National Executive Council of UDA, I believe that the policy of the government, like the budget, the government should have brought those proposals to the party. Discuss with the National Executive Council, let us see what you want to do, then we agree with it. So that when I live there as a member of the National Executive Council, I'm able to defend what is being presented to Parliament or to the government for approval. But this is a situation where people sit, make decisions, and they expect you to support those decisions. Workers of this country are being overtaxed. Look at the National Health Insurance Fund. They want to move it from where it is to 2.75. Initially, we had the medical allowance that was removed from the pay slips of all civil servants in Kenya, where they started a program they were calling Comprehensive Medical Scheme for Civil Servants. That about 4,000 was removed from the pay slip of all civil servants. That money has disappeared. We don't have that comprehensive medical scheme today. We used to have mortgage. We have money for mortgage at the public Ministry of Public Service, Gender and Youth. Billions of shillings for mortgage and car loan. That money is lying there. Now they are telling you, instead of you worker going to get money from that program where you are charged 3% interest for operation cost alone, because that was money that was put there by the government for the purpose of civil servants getting to build their own houses. Now they are telling you, we'll get 3% from you to build houses for those who don't have. Now, we were told when we were campaigning that we are preaching class war. Now, class war is being legalized. You are now being told you have a payslip. You have a right to build a house for that one who doesn't have a payslip. Very soon, people in the village will start saying, these people with the payslips are eating or sleeping hungry. They will come tomorrow to your house to ask you, we want to eat because of our payslip. This is the class war. I don't know whether the president is aware of what he's doing. He's bringing a bigger problem than what he can see. And if there's people around him who don't see these things we're seeing, then he has nobody around him to advise him.
When did you join UDA?
I think I joined UDA before it was formed, because we started to working with the president before UDA was formed. And it was actually there, but it's not with us. So when ultimately it was formed, I joined UDA.
So you were among the first people
Exactly.
to actually move with the then deputy president into this vehicle.
Yes.
And it was to be the vehicle to be used to campaign and seek power.
Exactly.
So you were very much involved in the inner workings of the campaign team.
You see, to sell UDA in Kakamega was not, and generally in West Province, was not easy. But through some of us, like where I come from, my constituency, I managed to move.
Where do you come from?
Malava constituency. I managed to paint Malava yellow. And you know, apart from the intrigues happened, let me talk about the votes that were recorded. What was recorded for the president was 28,000 votes. Raila Odinga 29,000 votes. For my own effort. There is no any other sub-county or constituency in Kakamega that went above 15,000 votes. That was my effort. And if those cartels around the president refused me to go around the county and the constituency and the region. If I had been given a chance to go around Kakamega County and the entire region, I have a great say, and people trust me. You know, trust is more important than even wealth.
But you're the vice chairman of the party. What do you mean by people who are refusing?
Because I did not have the means. You know, you cannot go campaign when you don't have, you must have fuel to move around. But when you're given, the money is given, go and do this campaign with Panyako, then some cartel sit somewhere and isolate you. You remain alone, and that's why I confined in Malava. And I delivered Malava. But these cartels who ran away with the campaign money never delivered Kakamega.
Who are these cartels?
They were there. Let us not go
Are they members of the party?
Some of them were not, because we're in a coalition now. We had Fort Kenya, we had ANC, and we had other small parties. But in Kakamega, we had ANC, Fort Kenya, and UDA.
Okay. So did you participate in putting together the thinking that went into the manifesto for Kenya Kwanza?
We did, because, but that manifesto is not the one being implemented.
Okay, let's start with the manifesto that was presented.
We did that.
Did you write the manifesto? Did you participate in?
We did, because I remember we had a meeting in Naivasha for the Western region leaders and businessmen and opinion leaders and farmers. and we came up with what we wanted for our region. If we could form government, and needed formed government. And we believe that what we told the president is going to be part and parcel of his manifesto or deliverable when he becomes the president.
Right.
We did that. Some of the things that we were talking about in agriculture, value added, now that value added has disappeared. Have you had any talk about value added? People are just talking about taxes, center, left, right. Yeah.
But there was housing.
Housing was there.
It was a big one.
It's a good idea. But let me tell you, there's nothing new about affordable housing program. President Uhuru Kenyatta left a affordable housing program in place. When you go to Ngara, the house is being built. We have a lot of money already, which can be used for affordable housing program. I have said we have, like the board of Lab Fund where I sit, we have billions. The other day we were launching affordable housing programs at South Sea with the president. That was not that is workers' money, but not being overtaxed from the pension schemes, because pension schemes invest heavily in estates, and then they sell or they rent out to make income for the members. We have a new scheme called Public Servants Protection Scheme. It has operated for less than 6 months. It has 46 billion today, less than 6 months. We have now NSSF, which has been given 12%. That money can be used. Government can provide free land, and then the houses can be built, then they become affordable. Then the money, the little profit that's gotten from them, comes back to the fund for members who are retiring to get. We have Lab Fund, we have Lab Trust, and we have CPF. All these are pension schemes where money for workers are being contributed. Then we have public-private partnership, which President Uhuru Kenyatta was doing very well. So when you look at all this money that's available, and you see somebody still wants to get money from workers when he has not told us what is available in our pension scheme is not enough, then you see it's malicious. We're not even being told where the housing levy, the money is going to go. Hatuambiwi kama ni sako, hatuambiwi kama ni merry round, hatuambiwi kama ni pension scheme, hatuambiwi kama ni nini. This money, even if it's deducted today, on which account is it going to go? We're not being told the custodian will be National Housing, it's called National Housing Fund.
Corporation.
Corporation. We've not been told. We've not been told it's going to go to Ministry of Treasury. We've not been told where it's going to go. So it's money that the government is creating to steal from the workers. Period. Nothing else.
That's a strong statement. We had the PS for housing, Charles Hinger, here. And the question that you responded to was asked of him. And he said that everything that you've mentioned, yes, hasn't been done, but will be done. He said the introduction and the discussion around the housing fund is just that. But for the money to actually be deducted, for it to be collected, the structure within which those monies will be nestled are yet to be created. And he said they will be created before that money is actually deducted.
So do you put structures in place first, or you get money first? Because now this is May. June is next. This is May.
Yeah,
it is May. June. This is the last day of May. Tomorrow is June.
And this finance bill, if it goes through, it comes effect from first. People will be taking money on first. Where will it go? Where are those infrastructure that have been created for the money to be collected? And this is billions. It's not small money. So we are saying that yes, affordable housing program is something that is supported by everybody, by all of us. All of us want to have homes, but how is it supposed to be implemented? Workers are not supposed to be used as a milking cow to get money for purported government programs. Look here, the employers have gone and they have said they don't want to pay, and they have agreed with the government secretly, and they have signed an agreement that they will not contribute. But for you as a worker, no one is there to defend you. When we defend, like myself, I've come so strongly. You know what they are doing? Oh, we want to create another union for the nurses so that we kill Panyako. Government has refused to think. It is thinking of how to ruin Panyako. You can ruin me. I can go anywhere in this world and I'll survive. I have been in the union only 10 years and I've lived more than 40 years. So you see, I've lived about 50 years now. So that's not something that is going to resolve the resolve of the workers to defend their rights and say no to housing levy, no to NHI, to NHIF increases. Why are we supporting NSSF? We're not crying much about NSSF because NSSF, ideally, we have other companies that do not have any retirement program for their workers. Okay. Even some of the trade unions, we have employees and we do not have programs for retirement packages. Though my union has it. We are members of LAP Fund. So we feel like it's extremely important for those workers to force those employers who do not have a retirement scheme for the employees to have something to retire and go home. That's why we're not fighting NSSF. It's a good thing. And for those who are in LAP Fund and those who are in a public servants pension scheme, they are not being deducted tier 2 and above. So that one is an issue resolved and we are supporting it as workers. But NHIF, NSSF, we have already 4,000 shillings have been taken from our pay slips. Mortgage has gone. We had car loan, it has gone. Now instead of them telling us where the money went, they are telling us now they want us to start to deduct 3% so that those who don't have houses can get houses. When Hinga was asked, how will I get that house? He said, you'll do a lottery. You do a lottery. And if you don't get it, and if you get the lottery, you will pay the house at market rate. Because even affordable houses is being done at market rate.
Seth, is it the first time that you've heard of these measures?
No.
Are you
Which
saying
measures?
that during the campaigns, as you were designing your campaign, because you say you were there in the design of the Kenya Kwanza political campaign, as you're designing the campaign, as you're going in your own home constituency and selling this manifesto, you had no idea at all how housing was going to be funded. You had no idea at all what kind of taxes the Kenya Kwanza administration would bring or what kind of taxes the Kenya Kwanza administration would remove, that you were actually caught by surprise when the finance bill was published. Is that what you're saying?
I'm a stranger to this government. I don't believe it's a government we put in place because what it is doing is contrary, completely different from what we expected from it. You saw the president was in Namanga. He was in Kakamega and he was saying hii mambo ya kuongeza mafuta kila siku hawajui vile inaharibu uchumi wa Kenya. We will remove that 8%. Now he's telling us he's going to increase the 8% to 16%. You know, what kind of, do you think I can tell, if elections were to be held today, government imevunjwa leo, tunasema turudi kutafuta kura, what will I tell my people? What will I tell them? There is no hustler anymore. Which hustler? Hustler is being milked. Center, left, right. If you are not careful, we are headed to where we are going to have tax collectors who will move in every village and look for house girls and shamba boys. If they are not paid tax, they are arrested. Because from the way now we see chamas, these things for kina mamas, chama, merry-go-round, now the chamas are going to be taxed.
Actually, Bwana Panyako, you live long enough to know that in the Moi era, Harambes were enforced.
Yes, those makuru.
People would go to villages. People like my grandmother, if you didn't have money, they would take your chicken.
Yes.
You were going to contribute to that Harambe. It was not as though you participated in it.
It was forced.
And there are people who ensured that you participated in it. So, but back to this issue. You cannot say you are not a politician because you are a union leader. Union leaders are politicians.
I've not said I'm not a politician.
Yes. No, I have said you cannot say. I did not say you have said. I said you cannot say, claim to be, not to be a politician. Are we, if I'm listening to you, are we saying that you have come to this firm position that we can no longer excuse things politicians say as political promises, which must be taken with a pinch of salt, and that everything politicians tell us they will do must be taken as ezu?
Exactly. And that's where we parted with my party. You cannot promise people this thing and then you do the opposite. How do you expect me to walk in the village? People wakituona wanatuambia angalia hiyo watu. Hawa ni watu wa UDA. Hawa ndio watu wameanza kututax. Hawa ndio watu wanaongeza mafuta. Hawa ndio watu wameongeza sukari. Hawa watu wameongeza unga. And we told people we'll reduce unga. It has not been reduced. You saw in Busia. When the president was trying to tell people unga is 1 feet, what was he told? Uongo. If you are a president and raia wanakuambia uongo, you know it is wrong. You should be properly advised if you are a president. If mimi nikiwa rais wa Kenya, nitaenda supermarket mwenyewe niangalie bei ya bidhaa huko. Nione kweli hii unga iko 150 ama hakuna. But you can't go in public and say unga iko 150, then raia wanakuambia uongo. It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed that we used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta that he was doing politics of conmanship. Sisi ndio serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax then you double. You cannot say you bring the cost of living down then you want to make it go up. Life for Kenyans is going to be very difficult for us. In fact, if this bill goes through, I don't know how we shall survive in this country.
Let's take a break. It's 8:30. Kenya's biggest conversation. Seth Panyako is the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, and he's in the studio. Until last week, Friday, he was the Vice Chair of UDA until he received a call from the President. He was told, you know, the way you're behaving, my friend, I think it's best if you just left the party.
And now you see they don't know what to do.
He said he's going to leave the party.
You know, they don't know what to do. Immediately, Malala came and said I was not an official. Itumbi said I was not an official. People went on the social media and produced everything. Now, you have heard him. I saw yesterday he was saying he has not chased anybody. They don't know what they're doing. Clearly.
You have not been chased. You said you're going to leave and you have not left. In all these conversations, you have mentioned not once, not twice, other people working around the president and cartels around the president and those that think that they have powerful positions within the party. Are there other battles that you're fighting?
You see me, basically the work that I do, I've been employed to speak. That's the work that I do, to speak for my members. And any obstacle that comes before my members and generally on the public, because I'm also a politician, I will tackle it the way it comes. There are cartels around the president. I'm telling you, on Monday, the chairman for Lab Fund resigned, the board where I sit on. On Thursday, we had the CEO for Lab Fund resigning and joining National Social Security Fund, David Koros, as the managing trustee. So as a board, looking at the State Corporation Act, Section 5, Clause 3, gives the board the powers to appoint a CEO. So we had arranged an AGM on Friday and everything had been done, money had been used. So we said now, since the CEO has left, we can't postpone the AGM. And the AGM cannot be done without a CEO. So we appointed an acting CEO on Thursday. But the cartels within the president, surrounding the president, forced the board to overturn that appointment a day later, on the day of the AGM. Immediately after the AGM, we were forced to go into a board meeting.
What do you mean forced?
These cartels around the president, there are about 6 guys from one ethnic community. And I'm very blunt because I do not care. This country does not belong to an ethnic community. There are people who believes about 6 guys around the president from one ethnic community who are pulling strings in government, who wants to manage each and everything, who want to know, even a cleaner, they want to know which cleaner is being employed is from where. They want to have a hand on everything. So they kept on, in fact, the chairman received threats, and ultimately he received a phone call from the president himself.
Okay.
He was very harsh, and I was there when the phone call went through. I saw messages from those cartels and the president himself. So
How many members
we
on the
had
board?
to. We are about 11. We are 11 actually. So we reversed that decision, but I had my dissenting voice. I said I want you to capture that I am opposing the resentment because there's no reason being given. And immediately after that, the chairman was now being threatened clearly. So he said I can't hold on anymore. And I mean, Daddy resigned on Monday from the chairman of the board. Now today, because we rescinded the decision of Galm Jeldesa as the acting CEO, we don't have a CEO at Lab Fund and we don't have a chair. The board cannot meet. The organization cannot run. Just because some few cartels around the president. When we decided to take Galm Jeldesa as the acting CEO, we looked at the files of the top 3 management there were actually top 5, but the 3 of them are second to the CEO, 2 are below, but they are all at the same level when you look at the laws and the regulations. But they have been frustrated, the 2 of them. They are supposed to be at the same level, so we're supposed to have 5 top management, but they have 3, then 2 are a step below. So we have to go for those who are high, 3 of them. We looked at their files. The only person who had a clean file, no different letter, no nothing, was Galm Jeldesa. 2, he's also on contract. So we said this one whose file is clean and also is on contract is suited to be the acting CEO. And some people in government speak like they don't care. Somebody asks you, how do you give your state corporation like this and you have not given us something? It is mad. It is. I don't understand.
There's something I want to understand. I hear what you've said. I hear you very clearly. There are 11 of you.
Yes.
The sort of pressure that is brought to bear to the point where a whole board makes a decision that, from what you tell us, they were not inclined to make, but now they are put in a position where they have no choice.
Yes.
What exactly are you told? If there are threats, what are the threats?
You are told rescind that decision.
That's it.
Or you will know who the government belongs to. You have no right to make any decision.
Seth,
Let me ask you.
How did you get to the board?
I got to the board through the pressure from the court. I went to court because I sent workers. And they had removed workers from the board. So I went to court, and they went to court and said, we are doing out of court. Even the suit is still alive. So it's the court that caught me to the board. I represent workers. I'm not appointed by the government.
Okay.
And we are 2 of us, myself and Robert Duba, Honorable Robert Duba. He comes from the County Government Workers Union, and from the Kenya National Union of Nurses, because we are the 2 biggest union in public sector. But we are supposed to be 5, not less than half. That's what the Retirement Benefit Authority say. Yeah. And that's why my
representatives of the workers must be 5 in the board.
Must be half. Must be not less than half. And no decision can be made if workers are not there. But in this board, even whether workers are not there, decision can be made. But let us go back to the issue of appointing the CEO and rescinding the decision. Let me now ask you, the chairman who comes in, the CEO who comes in, who has been brought now by the powers that be, and the board is supposed to oversight over him.
Who appoints a chairman of a body? Like that board of yours?
Is it supposed to be the president?
Okay.
Who appoint the chairs of all state corporations in Kenya. But what I'm trying to say is, if the CEO they want comes in, even if it's a worker, or they pick another worker, or they now leave Galma, they take another person and they bring, this person is supposed to be answerable to the board. Now the board has no say for how he's coming in. How is the board going to be to oversight this person who has now been brought without the knowledge of the board and without input of the board.
The board is supposed to determine who the CEO is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now you are being told you cannot. You have no powers to do that.
All right. I want to come back a little bit, Seth, because again, yes, you do seem pretty frustrated with a lot of these things that are going on right now. And you talked about the fact that what you see playing out today is not what you had assured Kenyans of as part of the party that went into full swing campaign mode before September, right, before August, before the election, right? Of the many things that they said they were going to do, I mean, then there are quite a number of them, which, some of them are in the works. For the ones that you are surprised about today, or rather that are unpalatable, how did they say at that point, whether it was inner circles or wherever the conversation was had, how did they say they were going to fund some of these things that made you comfortable with sending the message even to the constituencies that you talk about? How did they say that they were going to fund these programs?
I think myself, coming from the workers' movement, I assumed that we will use the funds available the way Uhuru Kenyatta was doing, and through public-private partnership, and using the money that I've already said are there in state corporations, whose mandate is among them is to do housing. That was my thinking. But I think most of us were hoodwinked because we were never told where the money is going to come from. We were just being told we will do 250,000 houses per year, we will do affordable housing, we'll provide jobs. Are you trying to have the only jobs you want to bring to Kenya? Kazi ya mjengo. Hiyo ndio kazi ya kupewa Kenya pekee yake. Hakuna kazi nyingine. We can't think beyond construction.
Are you saying you're unaware that even in the Uhuru Kenyatta administration, there was a plan to roll out the National Housing Fund?
It was already there, and it is there. So we have houses in Gara.
No.
Under that program.
Are you saying you're not aware of the plan to roll out the housing fund?
We opposed.
In the Uhuru administration.
We went to court.
Yes.
And it was 5% at that time.
It was 1.5.
1.5%.
1.5%.
Yes.
We opposed, went to court.
Was your union among those that went to court?
Yes, of course.
Was your union among those that then withdrew the case?
No. Our case was never withdrawn. You see, when the court said that dismiss the case, allowed our suit, and that thing collapsed. And even Omtata was also in court, and his was also allowed. You heard him say in Busia. So it will follow the same route. If we have nobody listening to us, we hope the judiciary will be able to listen to us. Yeah.
So you did not have a conversation at all, even during the campaigns, on this housing fund?
No, I'll be lying to you.
You are unaware.
I'll be lying.
But you are aware of the NSSF issue as well that was stuck in court.
NSSF have no problem with that.
And you're aware
I've said that one have no problem.
Unions withdrawing their objection to the NSSF. But you're not aware of unions withdrawing their objection to the housing fund.
The housing fund, we have not gone to court, the current one. But the 1.5%, the court quashed it. So other unions that were in court and the matter had already been determined will definitely remove their matters. Because there's no need to prosecute something that a determination has already been made in your favor. Yeah. For this one, for NSSF, well, it's a good thing, but even the way it was removed, we didn't know. It's a good thing, but even the way it was removed, we should have been called and be told, you see now, we have decided to remove this matter. But we don't go in a boat to somewhere, cut deals and go remove the matters to telling workers. But it's a good thing, despite the fact that it was not properly withdrawn.
Okay.
It is something worth supporting. Like employers, let me tell you, the employers outside there who don't care about their employees when the time for retirement comes. And that's why NSSF comes in. We must support it. It must have strong leadership because and I like NSSF because NSSF, when you don't have court representative, no forum. When you don't have FK representative, no forum. It means the employer and the worker cannot run away from decisions being made. And that's the structure I love about NSSF. So it is something we must support for those who don't have pension schemes.
Okay. Again, coming back to where these conversations were being had, what was the moment when you realized, okay, folks, we cannot do this and I have to come out and start to speak about some of these things and hope people will hear, before the president called you and said, it's best you go? What was the moment when you realized, according to you, that things were going south?
First of all, after elections were over, I think they had known that they had known what they were doing that I didn't know, and they knew that I will oppose. There was communication was cut between me and State House, and initially we used to sit with the president, deputy president. Then we'll talk, we'll plan how we're going to do, how we'll do things in Kenya, and he'll even call me oftenly, even once in a week, sometimes twice, sometimes even 3 times in a day. And we'll discuss, and he's a good friend of mine. But immediately after he went to office, he stopped receiving my calls. He stopped receiving my, and there's something's going wrong. Poop! Then I saw the finance bill. Oh, so this is why they knew I'm going to oppose this thing. Now when it came up, the finance bill, everybody was up in arms. Workers are calling me center, left, right. We don't want this thing. Unusual, I'm directed by my workers. Those are represented, because I am not employed by government. I'm employed by the members who pay me my salary, and they pay me ostensibly to represent them, and they pay me handsomely. And that's when I heard somebody saying that I was not given some key position in government, and that's why I rebel. I say those are political jokes.
Is that true?
Because when I was here, initially when I was here, even when you asked me that question, I told you I'm not joining politics to look for money. I'm comfortable with what I have. The kind of position I'm holding today is bigger than being a CS, honestly speaking. It's bigger than a PS. You have seen Francis Atwoli talk about this issue, that they can't even be a president. It's bigger than a president. It's true. Trade unions who have grown in the field, like Atwoli, you can't even be a president. He's a big man. When you look at what he controls in his own income in a month, it's above 30 million. Why do you want to come and fight? And you have not gotten money from politics, because politicians get their wealth from politics through cutting deals. So they must continue to be in power to protect what the ill-gotten wealth.
Did you know this? Okay, see, now this is the thing that I'm conflicted about.
Yes.
That you're convicted of this position right here today. But it is not something that is new. We know these things. You knew this last year when you were pushing for the party, but you pushed for the party to get into administration. So then that position, which some folk, which you've admitted to right now, hold, that maybe there was a position but you were not given, or something rocked the boat that you were not happy with, and then that is why now you're being so open about this issue. Because these things that you're saying right now, they're not new. They're not new thoughts. They're not new beliefs. They've been there before. So that's why I have to ask now for the 3rd time, what happened to make you then be so overtly against this position, for one that you were so much in support of just 9 months ago?
I don't know. The things we are saying, they are not new. It is not new.
That politicians go and seek office in order to cut deals to make back the money that they did, which you've just said?
No, I didn't say phenomenon. That. I said some politicians ostensibly want to remain in politics actively, even fight. You see, when you look at the money you put in politics in Kenya, for example, you literally, and I'm sorry to say this, our voters expect you to buy them, to vote for you. So when you look at the money that you spend distributing to voters across the country and doing things, going to chamas, going to charge contribution, where and where, you look at those millions. Actually, they run into billions.
That you spend?
Yes. When you look at that and you look at the salary, for example, of a president, why will you spend these billions to become a president? These politicians, some of them, they just want to protect what they have. It's not an issue like they want presidency to get anything. Some leaders, and those that have died poor, those who are genuine politicians, they die poor. They don't die within the type of Martin Shikuku and the rest. They die poor without anything. Genuine politicians. For us, I was trying to tell you that for us in trade union movement, if you come from a strong union like mine, like Kotu, like Plantation Union, these big unions with proper financial muscle, you're able to be properly paid, remunerated. And then when you grow, you now become international leader like Francis. You have so many sources of income. So in a month, you can even have income of over 30 like Francis now. So Francis will not want to become a president because he has nothing to protect. His wealth has come from the things he has done for the workers. No one is coming for his money. You see? But now when you are an ordinary politician...
Why did you join politics? Did you want to become an MP?
First was a push from my people to offer an alternative leadership. In Malabar constituency, after the death of Soita Shtanda, when he left the Malava politics, the things he did have remained there. No steps have been taken. In fact, Malabar constituency has gone back 20 years. So the people said we needed a change. But you see, even that's politics, that's corruption. If you're not in the system doesn't. You work with people, you think they're with you. Kumbe, they're not with you. I'm telling you, this Kenyan politics is funny. People give you the ticket to run on their ticket. Kumbe, they're not with you. They are saying if this man is elected, we shall be in trouble. We must make sure it doesn't go through. But let him look for votes for us. But at the last minute, we make sure he's not in the leadership. He's not elected. And that's what happened this country.
Wait a minute. So are you saying that your own people sabotaged you?
Of course, yes. Right from 2017. That's what they've been doing to me. And that's why I'm saying I have left.
Your own...
I've left
your own kitchen cabinet.
I'm telling you.
Or are you saying
it was
your own...
my own people who took away my victory in Malaba constituency. My own people. And something so funny that your people will join the opposition to fight Panyako. It has happened twice. So I'm thinking of leaving politics altogether, concentrating on the issue of the workers, because I think politics is just an ass. I don't have.
So you are getting into this thing not for money, because
no.
the union pays.
Which money?
Right?
I'm paid salary.
So you are joining this so that you can serve the people.
Exactly.
So even if you had gotten an appointment into a government position,
no, not appointment,
you'd have gotten in there to serve the people. I mean,
but not appointment.
I mean,
why not appointment?
Because I have a job.
Oh, okay.
I have a job, a good job. This is a good job. It's not a bad job. Why do I go to PSCS? Alafu asubuhi mnapiga simu mnasema deadlines. Someone wakes up tomorrow and fires you. I can't allow that kind of work. I would rather go home and rest. Yeah, take care of my cattle. Small mbuzi huko. How do you leave a good job that you and then you go for a job you can be fired tomorrow? How? Something must be wrong with you.
So now the finance bill is going through the motions of Parliament, right?
Yes.
You've expressed your opposition to it. If it passes through Parliament, as the Secretary General of the Nurses Union, what next for you?
We have already put mechanism in place to... The lawyers are waiting for it. In fact, petitions have already been drafted. We are waiting to finalize. If it goes through, we headed to the courts to oppose it, because something very interesting is that the courts have already pronounced itself on some of the matters, like the housing levy. So there's no way it will go against its earlier pronouncement. This is something that people are bringing up. Just they have failed to get money, and now they think workers' money is easier. And the class war, I want to repeat, the class war that this regime is preaching will eat us one day. So our lawyers are ready. They are going to go to court. Petitions are waiting. We will also go on the street.
Have you officially left the party?
No, I have not officially left the party. I'm supposed to have left on Monday, as I promised the president. But after that, there were certain things that went on. Cleophas Malala produced some statement on his Facebook page, and he said, actually, I've not been an official of UDA, and he was actually saying Omar Hassan is the vice chairman. The vice chairman. We don't even have a vice chairman in UDA. We have 3 deputy chairmen. Or in the office of the chair, we have 2 deputy secretary generals. We have 3. We have 3 deputy general secretaries, 3 deputy chairmen. We have 3 deputy treasurers. In that, and then we have secretaries for different departments. And we are 3. Like it was me, Marete, and Omar, who was brought in just the other day. He's not even gazetted yet. Even Malala is not gazetted. Legally speaking, he's not as chief for UDA because he's not been gazetted. So when he said I was not a member of an official of UDA, I said, now look here, I need to get first clarification from the registrar of political parties on who are the current officials of UDA. The same thing happened with Itumbi. He came again and said, I'm not an official of UDA. And then I said, I will not be resigning until today when I'm taking my letter to the registrar of political parties to give me an extract of the officials of UDA. Then my resignation will follow on Friday.
Who elected you as deputy chair?
It was the members of parliament. When you're starting a political party, you don't start by elections. You start by having interim officials. Actually, interim officials. We are not fully confirmed officials because the elections have not been done. They're supposed to be done in August. So all of us are interim officials until August when elections will be conducted. But I'll not be there then.
Let me ask this question because I do not know the response to it. If you were to resign, what would you do? What are the steps? How does one resign from a political party?
You just write a letter to the registrar of political parties.
That's it.
And indicate that you have left this party, and also you have left there. Actually, you don't write to the party. You write to the registrar of political parties.
Okay.
That you have left the party, both as a lead, as an official, and as a member.
Okay.
Then the registrar will respond to you and say it has been effected. In fact, the registrar of political parties effects those changes immediately. When you are seated there, it's effected and you go back. Very efficient. Yeah.
Do you want to leave the party or just the position of
I'm leaving
chair?
the party. This is a yellow party.
So you don't then even need to know who the officials are.
I don't care.
If you leave the party today,
But people, this conmanship. This conman. I want to be a very straightforward person. This conmanship of people saying that I've never been a union of an official of
official of the party. Yes.
It's foolishness, and the people must know the current position the way it is. Once people see it, then I leave that party, because it's a party of conmen who don't believe in themselves. They don't even know who the officials are. I asked Malala, do you know who officials are? If you don't know the structure of the party, we don't have one. We don't even have a vice chair. He was saying, Omar Hassan is the vice chair. We don't have a vice chair. We have a deputy chair, 3 of them. I will play a small role in this country. I want to be remembered as a person who stood as an upright person. If you challenge me, I must go out there, use all the resources I have to ensure that I counter that challenge. And if I make a mistake, I'll be very quick to say, I'm sorry, I've made a mistake.
where will you go to next? Will you join another political party?
No. We are starting a movement called the Partless People's Movement. A movement that don't want to belong to any political party. Because political parties are now yellow political parties. They belong to individuals. If someone does not agree with you, a phone call away and you are told leave. And you must leave. They are very powerful. You cannot argue with them.
Bwana Panyako, you know ODM began as a movement as well.
No, we will not form a political party.
And then it became a political party.
SETH Panyako, Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, is a guest. And he says he is a deputy chair of the UDA party, and
Yes.
he wants to resign from the party and from the leadership of that party. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we'll keep track of what you'll do as you go forward.
Thank you very much.